Welcome, everyone, to your full moon in Libra horoscopes and tarotscopes for the full moon in Libra lunar eclipse that we have on Monday, March 25th, 2024. We're going to talk all about this eclipse and what you can expect and how you can make the most of it. It's going to be a lot of fun for sure. So, if you are new to my channel, well, I do welcome you. Thank you for stopping by. I am Joshua the Psychic. I do psychic astrology readings, I do coaching, and I do classes. You can find out information about my services at psychicsun.com. The link to that is in the description below. And in fact, for this full moon, lunar eclipse in Libra, you can get your written horoscopes on my website too. Just check under the news tab for latest horoscopes, and you'll be able to find a written version of what we're going to talk about today. So let's talk about this full moon lunar eclipse and what it means. Libra is ruled by Venus, and Venus rules love as well as money. Typically, the love part of Venus is associated with Libra, and the money part of Venus is associated with Taurus. They say that Libra's beauty is usually aesthetic, that they're beautiful people because beauty has to do with balance, and Libras tend to have symmetry in their face, meaning this side of their face is balanced with the other side, and they're just symmetrical. And they say that Taurus's beauty is on the inside, that you'll never find a more beautiful person on the inside than a Taurus. And with Venus being the ruler of this full moon, Venus is very important, and Venus is in Pisces right now where it's exalted. So this is a very Venusian energy that we're going to be dealing with. It's really good. It's good for love. It's good for money. It's good for romance. It's good for creativity and all relationships, really. Now, the eclipse is a process, right? On the eclipse, yes, it's going to be intense. The whole week of the eclipse is an intense time. However, for the eclipse effects to totally take effect, it's going to take about 6 months, or any time within eclipse time, 6 months before, 6 months after. In fact, you may already be experiencing, or may have already experienced, the effects of this eclipse. So, and there are some eclipses that don't affect anybody, right? So we're going to talk about how that might affect you. It will be at 5 degrees of Libra. So if you have anything at 5 degrees in the cardinal signs, Libra, Capricorn, Aries, or Cancer, well, you'll be affected by this eclipse, which we're going to talk more about. So key themes for Libra include balance, relationships, and harmony. And because it's a full moon, the sun is now in Aries, the moon will be in Libra, it's about balance. And what this full moon lunar eclipse is going to do, it's going to call attention to anything that is imbalanced in our lives. Essentially, we're going to be asking, am I balancing partnership, Libra, with independence, Aries? Am I balancing diplomacy with, that's Libra, diplomacy with straightforwardness, Aries, right? So if there's anything in your life that's out of whack or imbalanced, well, this eclipse is going to probably call attention to it. Additionally, let's talk about a lunar eclipse versus a full moon. If you are watching this video later, by Saturday the 23rd, there will be timestamps. So feel free to skip ahead, of course. But if you're curious, lunar eclipse versus a full moon. So a lunar eclipse is always a full moon. A lunar eclipse occurs when the Earth passes between the sun and the moon, casting a shadow on the moon, making it appear red or darkened in the sky. This eclipse is probably going to appear very gray. A full moon occurs when the moon is positioned directly opposite the sun, and it's fully illuminated by its light. Now, during a lunar eclipse, observers on Earth can see the Earth's shadow move across the moon, which can either be a total, partial, or prenumeral eclipse. So essentially, that's why we don't do anything magical under the eclipse, i.e. lighting candles, stuff like that for those people who do that sort of thing, just because it's an unpredictable energy. During a full moon, the face of the moon is illuminated and there's no shadow cast upon it. And during a lunar eclipse, it's more rare and dramatic than a full moon, and it offers a unique visual experience for sky watchers. So if you're around, I would say Sunday night into Monday at 12 a.m. Pacific time, 3 a.m. Eastern time, 2 a.m. Central time, you'll get to see the eclipse. That'll be very nice. Now, a solar eclipse, we're going to have a solar eclipse in Aries on April 8th. So a solar eclipse versus a lunar eclipse. A solar eclipse occurs when the moon passes between the sun and the earth, blocking the sun's light and creating a shadow on the earth. A lunar eclipse, as we said, occurs when the earth passes between the sun and the moon, casting a shadow on the moon. A solar eclipse is only during a new moon, while a lunar eclipse is only during a full moon. And a solar eclipse is more rarer than a lunar eclipse, as it requires a more precise alignment of the sun, moon, and earth. So what can you expect during a lunar eclipse? And you may already be experiencing this, but intensified emotions. Lunar eclipses will amplify our emotions, causing us to feel more sensitive or reactive than usual. Hey, Casmar, nice to see you. Hey, Kelsey, nice to see you again. Oh, you're having a solar eclipse party at school? That sounds a lot of fun, actually. Yeah, that's a good question. Make sure you have your glasses. Make sure you get your glasses. And for a lunar eclipse, this lunar eclipse that we're going to have, think of culminations and endings. So astrologically, lunar eclipses are associated with culminations and the end of a chapter in one's life. So we're tying up loose ends. You know, it might be just a matter of there's certain things that no longer work for you. It's a time of reflection and introspection. Eclipses encourage deep reflection, allowing us to review our paths and to make necessary adjustments. It's like a course correction, a lunar eclipse or any eclipse, right? If you're en route to your goals, well, you probably won't be affected. Maybe you'll get nudged further closer to them. But if you're off track, an eclipse is going to put you back on your path. And there's a sense of release with a lunar eclipse. Events or experiences around this time might bring a sense of letting go or a release from past burdens or constraints. So it's a perfect universe. And this lunar eclipse is supposed to help us. It help us to get stronger, happier, healthier, wiser, etc. So eclipses can cause course corrections. So if you're en route, you're good. If you're off track, this will help you. It's an opportunity to grow and prosper, or you may face challenges if you're not doing what it is that's best for you. Because it's a full moon in particular, this one can definitely highlight imbalances. And really all eclipses do that. They highlight imbalances. A lot of us, we might focus very much on relationships, right? And we're all about our partner and we care so much about them. They're our life, they're our world. And that might be a problem because you might have professional ambitions. Contrastingly, you could be really, really focused on your career at the expense of your personal relationships. And if that is a problem for you, then this eclipse is going to bring that to light. Now, we talk about balance, work-life balance. It all depends on who you are. There are some people that are completely fine spending most of their life, their time, 80% of it working, and that works for them. But for other people, they need more balance in their life. So this is an opportunity for you to determine where you fall within that scale. A lunar eclipse may disturb what lurks underneath the surface. So tend to your spiritual regime, take care of your energy, a really good time to meditate, take walks in nature. If you nourish the fields within, the internal landscape, you'll create flowers or abundance wherever you go. So life is a reflection. You want to definitely focus on how you can make your inner world feel as peaceful as possible. The ruler of this eclipse is Venus. And right now, or at the time of the eclipse, Venus will be in Pisces, where she is happiest. Venus is exalted in Pisces. It's where she shows her best traits. So definitely enjoy this time of heightened romance and creativity, you do have to be a little bit aware of rose-colored glasses, because Venus in Pisces can be very idealistic. And as one of my astrology teachers told me, she was a Pisces herself, the problem with being idealistic, a la Venus in Pisces, or even Venus conjuncting Neptune, ruler of Pisces, is that, she said, people pick their noses. People are not perfect. And that can be problematic, right? Because if you have very, very high expectations, well, people could fall down from the pedestal. So keep that in mind. Oh, you have glasses for everyone. I'm very glad to hear that, Casimar. That's awesome. I'm very glad. You're going to drive to see it, you and your hubby? Well, that's very romantic. I love that. You and your honey. That's really, really good. Oh, you're experiencing extreme emotions? Well, I got to ask you, Casimar, and don't feel free to answer this if you don't feel comfortable, but you are a Scorpio. So isn't that sort of par of the course for you? Scorpios do usually experience extreme emotions, but I guess it must be more intense for you. Let me know in the comments if you feel like it. You hope it's sunny? Yeah, me too. That would be great. Thank you very much, Casimar. That's very sweet of you to give me that super chat. I do appreciate it. Yeah, I'm almost at my threshold, so that will help with YouTube. If you get over $100, they actually pay you. But if you get, I had 93. I think you just put me over. So I had 93 bucks, and I needed $10 to make $100. Just to let you know how much I get paid for my YouTube. And I think you just helped me there. So thank you. Now I get $100 just from your 10. So I appreciate that. Imbalances within ourselves, yes. But everything is a mirror, right? So if you're having an imbalance within yourself, that's going to be reflected, right? Because other people, everybody in our lives is ourselves pushed inside out. So if somebody is undervaluing your worth, you got to look at yourself and say, oh, am I doing this? Or if somebody's taking advantage of you, are you taking advantage of yourself? Are you undercutting yourself in some capacity? But yeah, the imbalances are within ourselves, and they can then be expressed or externalized through what we create in other people. It's more intense. I'm sorry to hear that. This too shall pass. This too shall pass. When you do experience that level of intensity, it's interesting. I do think that you do get stronger, like in terms of love. You know, you're going to love, you're going to get hurt, right? But, you know, you play baseball too, and you get hurt. But that doesn't stop you from playing baseball, right? You still play baseball. And even when you get hurt, you can heal and actually get stronger and become more compassionate and more loving. So hang in there, Casimar. I'm sure it'll be better for you. Additionally, watch out for that over-idealization with that Venus. So this eclipse, if you have a planet or point between 0 and 10 degrees, especially in the cardinal signs of Aries, Libra, Cancer, or Capricorn, you will be affected by this eclipse, most likely. Again, it may have happened over the past 6 months, or it may happen 6 months into the future. In any case, you will get a strong hit. The tighter the orb, meaning the closer your point or planet is to 5 degrees in your cardinal signs, the stronger the hit will be, or the more significant the life change will be. So if you have Cancer, Capricorn, Libra, or Aries at, say, 5 degrees, 6 degrees, 4 degrees, you're going to feel it. If you have it more like 10 degrees or 0 degrees, it's going to be less. So just check your chart. And you want to reflect on the solar eclipse that we had in Libra on October 14th, 2023, to understand the themes and subjects that may be resurfacing. And if you want to do some further detective work, revisit significant life changes or events between the end of 2004 and the middle of 2006, when the nodes were also in Aries, Libra, as they are now. So similar themes around that time might reemerge. It might be helpful if you have Gmail. Gmail is great, right? Because you can actually do a search in your Gmail of your email. And then you might get an idea of like, oh, I was doing this. Or maybe you have a date book, or even better, maybe you keep a diary so you can reflect back to those dates. Then you get an idea of what's going to be happening. Libra represents balance, harmony, relationships, and aesthetics. And it focuses on diplomacy, fairness, and partnership. Balance is partnership for a Libra. Libra is the opposite of Aries. Aries is I am. Libra's key phrase is I balance, or some might say it's we are, right? Whereas Aries is typically about ego. Libra is about the egotism of two. We are amazing. We are this super couple. We are awesome. Aren't we the best? Is what Libra would say, right? And in terms of Aries and Libra, typically Aries is the star. Libra marries the star, right? And they're just natural partners, Aries and Libra. Because Libra is very other person oriented. Aries is very self-focused, to put it lightly. The eclipse in Libra will highlight the balance between individual autonomy and the needs of partnership. So we're balancing that Aries, me, I am, versus you, we, right? Because the two extremes need to be balanced. You can't be totally focused on yourself, right? It's just, you're going to get sick of yourself, and you can't get totally focused on your partner to the expense of everything else, or you're going to smother your partner and you're going to lose your sense of self, right? So it's about balancing you and somebody else, or you and the other entity in your life, even your audience. If you are a public figure, or you do anything like writing, stuff like that. Additionally, we're going to be going through horoscopes and tarotscopes for every single sign. And we're going to do quick little tarot readings for some tarot wisdom. So listen for your sign, your rising sign. You even could listen to your moon sign if you wish. But I would definitely check where 5 degrees of Libra is in your chart. For instance, if your houses are not exact, which most people's aren't, you might actually say you are say you're an Aries, you could have Libra, say you're an Aries rising, you could have Libra in your 7th, 6th, or even 8th house, depending on where it is, right? So check where 5 degrees is. And even if you do not know, again, this is a time in which you're balancing, you're focusing on relationships, you're seeing what needs to give, and how you can create more harmony in your life. For really all of us, that energy, that dynamic between partnership and independence, Aries and Libra, is going to be the main theme. So we'll start with Aries, of course. Aries, this full moon lunar eclipse, of course, is hitting your 7th house of partnerships. So it's all about your deep connections. It's about balance. How can you balance? And it's about your harmonious commitments. And Aries can certainly have very harmonious commitments. Absolutely. They're fighters, but they might not be fighting their partner. Hopefully not, right? Shared adventures, Aries. Weave magical tales. So even though you are autonomous and very independent, you can't be you without somebody else being them, right? So you need somebody in your life to be you, right? Because otherwise you have nothing to determine who you are. You get to be you by virtue of who somebody else is. In fact, when you get into a relationship, you're like, you understand the differentiation between you and the other. So for this lunar eclipse, you want to move on from superficiality and seek deeper bonds. But that's just going to make you more you, Aries. Like, you're going to get to be more of yourself by virtue of the other in your life. So let's see, Aries, what wisdom you get from the tarot for your full moon and Libra solar eclipse. Oh, and by the way, if any cards come up that are negative, that is okay, because this is a releasing cycle. So we'll essentially put lipstick on that pig if you get any negative cards. So don't sweat it. Don't worry about it. So wisdom for Aries, for the lunar eclipse that we have, wisdom for Aries, wisdom for Aries, wisdom for Aries, wisdom for Aries. Eight of Pentacles. So this is a lovely card. So Eight of Pentacles is Sun in Virgo. And Virgo, as you know, probably, it's all about perfection and order and process and prudence and taking your time. So with Eight of Pentacles, you're nourishing your fields, right? You're taking the weeds out, you're feeding your garden or watering your flowers, etc. And before you know it, your garden is going to grow and it's going to be beautiful. So it looks like, Aries, you've been working really hard toward tending to your garden, and with the Eight of Pentacles, things are going to happen. Like what you've been nurturing is going to bear fruit. So Eight of Pentacles is a card of perfection. It's about, doing what you can to be very careful. In the realm of relationships, the Eight of Pentacles is about learning from your past experiences. Every relationship that you're in, you're going to make mistakes, and so is the other person, right? But with the Eight of Pentacles, you can reflect back. I did this last time in my relationship and it went south. I'm not going to do that again in this relationship. So it's about learning from your mistakes. But overall, with the Eight of Pentacles, it's really about things coming along nicely. So take a step back during eclipse season and let things be. Another aspect of Eight of Pentacles is leave well enough alone. Like, it's good. You're good. Quiet, right? Because Eight of Pentacles is Sun in Virgo. Virgo is ruled by the Hermit. Silence is sometimes golden. And that might be really the case during this eclipse. Taurus. So Taurus, you have this full moon lunar eclipse hitting your 6th house of lifestyle. So it's your nuts and bolts operations, what you do day in and day out. What are your habits like? So what's your routine? Taurus is very fixed sign. They like their lives. Just like Scorpio, Taurus really likes their routine, right? They like the status quo. But you've had Uranus in your sign, Taurus, with Jupiter, which is nice. So things have been changing for you, depending on what degree of Taurus you are, and they're expanding, which is great because you have Jupiter in your sign too. So this is an opportunity for you to look at your day-to-day lifestyle and say, okay, how can this be improved? How can I make every day a love affair with life? Because the 6th house also has to do with your job, there may be shifts in your job over the next 6 months. You might want to change jobs. You might want to get some extra time off. You might want an assistant. But there are job shifts most likely happening for you, depending on where that 5 degrees of Libra falls in your chart. And it's about celebrating your well-being. The 6th house is about the little things that we do day in and day out, those habits that make up the fabric of our lives. And every single day, Taurus, you want life to be a celebration. What can you do every single day to celebrate your life? How are you taking care of your body? You're a very physical person. If your body feels good, you're going to be good. Taurus wants 2 things. They want to feel amazing. They want sensuality. And they want stability. They want plenty of money in the bank, plenty of food in the fridge, and that's it. They're pretty simple, right? So every day is a vibrant celebration, Taurus, and this full moon lunar eclipse is going to help you to release those things that make your life less vibrant, right? What can you let go of, and what can you add that is going to make every day a celebration? So you want to let go of old habits and routines that no longer serve you and rejoice in new ones. What new habits, what new routines in your day-to-day life is going to make your life remarkable and give you even more light? Venus is bright, right? So you want to feel that sense of lightness. What is going to make you happy on a day-to-day basis? So let's see, Taurus, what wisdom you get from the tarot for your full moon lunar eclipse in Libra. Wisdom for Taurus, wisdom for Taurus, wisdom for Taurus, wisdom for Taurus. 9 of Wands. Okay. Well, on the one hand, the Nine of Wands is about you nearing a successful cycle or nearing the closing of a successful cycle. So you're almost at that finish line. So it's time to wrap things up. The Nine of Wands can also have to do with fear, like unnecessary defensiveness. Like it might be about you preparing for an attack that never comes. So I would say that Taurus is a very, very fixed, grounded sign. I'd say the most stubborn of all the signs. And they are very protective of their status quo, right? They want to keep things, they want to hold on to what they have, right? Which is understandable. But with the Nine of Wands, it's a matter of, are you being too defensive? Are you being too protective of yourself? Could you gain more from perhaps partnership or other forms of balance? Or the opposite of that, are you really, really focused on your partner to the extent of being really, really possessive that it's keeping you from your own autonomy? So watch out for unnecessary defensiveness and fear and allow yourself to balance your values, because those most likely, Taurus, have been going through changes. It's interesting because an object in motion likes to stay in motion, and Tauruses are very habitual and routine. We could be going after things on a regular basis that no longer are really relevant. So check in with yourself. What values do you have? What do you want your future to look like? What's going to enrich your life? And what adjustments do you need to make on a day-to-day basis to make your ideals a reality? And happy full moon. Happy full moon, Taurus. So Gemini, this is a very sexy transit for you. The full moon lunar eclipse in Libra will be hitting your 5th house of pleasure. So the 5th house in astrology is more about your inner teenager, things that light you up, things that you enjoy. It's more like dating as opposed to marriage, or fun times as opposed to deep, in-depth commitments, right? So it's about joy. What brings you joy? It's also about your creativity, your passionate pursuits. What do you love to do? The 5th house is about things that you really love, and it's about creative ventures. So how can you allow yourself to explore those things that light you up? How can you be lit up on a regular basis? The 5th house is about your heart's joy and what can light up your life. So utilize this full moon lunar eclipse to release reservations, any fears and doubts, to savor life's delights. Oh, I'm glad to hear it, Grandma Nay. Welcome back. Thanks for joining me. So Gemini, it's really all about what's going to bring you more joy. If you have a sense of like, oh, this is going to make me really happy, or I'm really happy when I write, or I'm really happy when I date, or whatever, be sure to allow yourself to have time for that and to balance it, in case you might be going to the other extreme, having too much fun and not enough responsibility. But let's see, Gemini, what wisdom you get from the tarot for your lunar eclipse in Libra. Wisdom for Gemini, wisdom for Gemini, wisdom for Gemini, wisdom for Gemini. Ooh, 9 of Pentacles. Well, this is a very sweet card. So it's about comfort. It's about luxury. The nines in tarot are all about independence. They relate to the Hermit card. And with the 9 of Pentacles, this is about you enjoying the finer things in life. So I feel like this eclipse for you is going to help you to become more independent, more self-sufficient, but also really enjoying your autonomy and the fruits of your labors. Some old-timey meanings with the 9 of Pentacles would be buying furniture. So what can you do to make your life more luxurious, more comfort? How can you experience those finer things in life? Because what are we working for, right? Sometimes we work and we work and we work and we don't take enough time for fun or play. And you have to think, like, what are we doing all of this for? Like, what's the point unless we're going to enjoy the fruits of our labors? And it looks like you're certainly going to be doing that, Gemini. So happy full moon. Cancer. So Cancer, this full moon in Libra lunar eclipse is hitting your 4th house. That's the house that your sign is associated with. It's the house of emotional security. However, A lot of people call this house the house of home and family. But the thing is, you take your home around you wherever you go. It's all about emotional security. So this full moon lunar eclipse is going to help you determine what it is that you need to feel emotionally secure. So it's about emotionally revitalizing yourself. Maybe you need a new home where you rest your head. Maybe you need to make adjustments to your home. Maybe you need people in your life who make you feel more secure, or maybe there are people in your life who are undermining your emotional security. Is somebody making you feel anxious? Is somebody making you feel bad? Is somebody undercutting your value? If that's the case, well, this full moon might be an invitation to release that from your life. There may be some changes on the home front. You might be deciding to move into a bigger home or a smaller home, or making just some changes domestically. But really, at the end of the day, Cancer, this is about you finding that sweet sanctuary, that comfortable place within yourself where you can be really tucked in and feel really yummy on the inside, right? You want to tap into the energy of the divine mother. Because even though you may have had an awesome mom, only you know how you need to be nurtured. Only you know what's going to make you feel emotionally all tucked in. So take good care of yourself, especially the emotional landscape. And because you're an illuminary, you're one of the luminary planets or signs, you're going to be affected by this eclipse. You're affected by all full moons and new moons and certainly eclipses. So be sure to take extra good care of yourself. So new beginnings are afoot in your emotional world. Again, find out what makes you feel all warm and fuzzy on the inside. And you want to let go of any negativity and fortify your sanctuary. What can you do to make your home even sweeter, right? How can it be more of a home sweet home? So let's see, Cancer, what wisdom you get from the tarot for your lunar eclipse in Libra. Wisdom for Cancer, wisdom for Cancer, wisdom for Cancer, wisdom for Cancer. Ooh. So Page of Swords. So with Page of Swords, essentially, you got to remember that all situations are inherently neutral. We are the assigners of meaning. Even Shakespeare said that nothing is good or bad, but thinking makes it so. So with Page of Swords, you want to get into the habit of labeling things as good. I know this is sometimes difficult, but i.e., oh, I got laid off. Normal response would be, oh my God, this is terrible. I got laid off. Your response instead should be, good. Good, I got laid off. There's obviously something better for me, or I've obviously outgrown this environment. Whatever the situation is, with Page of Swords, you want to make sure that you're assigning positive meaning. Because if you assign positive meaning to an inherently neutral circumstance, all circumstances are inherently neutral, then you're going to receive positive results. So if you label something as positive, you're going to derive positive results from that. If you label something as negative, this is terrible, my life is over, well, that's going to happen too. So just be very careful the way you're labeling things and try to label everything as positive. It also might be a time in which you're learning more things. You're learning about what it is that you need in a relationship. That's a lifelong exploratory process, right? In terms of what it is that you need, and your needs might change. Before, you might needed a lot of money in your bank account in order to feel secure. Now, it might be a matter of you need, hugs and kisses before you go to sleep. So determine what it is that you might need emotionally and let it be a learning process. Explore during this period and have a happy full moon. Leo. So Leo, this is a very social transit for you. It's hitting your third house. So it's all about communication. The third house is like everything, including the kitchen sink. It's your mindset. It's your thinking. It's your learning. It's where you go on a regular basis, where you socialize. It could be short distance trips. It could be your neighbors. It could be your neighborhood. It could be your siblings. There's a lot of things, but it's about your interactions with yourself and also the people in your environment. So it's about clear communications. It's also about shared knowledge, how you're learning, how you're teaching as you learn. And it also can be about vibrant conversations. It's a very social time for you, most likely, this eclipse. And you might want to say those things that are going to clear the air. Like, what do you need to get off your chest? Or, on a lighter note, what do you want to learn? What do you want to learn, or what do you want to teach? Because your ideas during this period will light up the room. So you want to release any hesitation that you have, Leo, and share your brilliant messages. Maybe you'll start a writing project. Or maybe you'll take a class, or maybe you'll teach a class. But it's about sharing your ideas and gaining that information on a regular basis that serves you, that lights you up, because that's what you're supposed to do, especially you, Leo, right? So let's see, Leo, what wisdom you get from the tarot for your lunar eclipse in Libra. Wisdom for Leo, wisdom for Leo, wisdom for Leo, wisdom for Leo. Well, 10 of Swords. But that's okay, right? Because 10 of Swords is the end of a problem when it cannot get much worse, right? This is like bottoming out. This is like you're at the bottom of the elevator. There's no place to go but up. So something, according to this card, Leo, has reached its moment in time in which it is over. Done. Done deal records, okay? So what you want to do is just look at it square in the face. Okay, this happened. This is over. What's next? You may have gone through a rough patch, and now it's a matter of there's good things ahead. So the 10 of Swords is not as negative as it might seem. It is really about the end of a problem when it cannot get much worse. But the good news is that the only way to go is up. So you may have gone through some difficult times, and that is all over. Now you have to retrain yourself to expect good things. Because if you went through hell, you might be creating your future based on past experiences. And as they say in finance, past performance is not indicative of future results, right? So be sure to focus on the future that you want, because if you're looking at the past to determine where you're going, you might create more problems, right? You want to create from the field, your imagination. This is what I could do, because that's going to bring you some new things that are much more favorable. So happy full moon. Your hubby is a Cancer, and he's been saying he wanted to change things about your house. Well, that makes perfect sense for the transit that he's going through. Oh, my goodness. Grandma, nay, you're spilling the tea. My boyfriend is also a Cancer. I kicked him out in December. Gave him till March 5th. Boy, oh boy. Well, you are very patient. You're very patient. He's very, very lucky. He's very lucky. Additionally, Virgo. So Virgo, this full moon lunar eclipse is hitting your second house of values and resources. So your values may have changed, or they may change during this transit, and therefore your priorities may evolve. Maybe you were focused very much on your job, and now you're like, you know what? I want to do different things. I want to express myself more. I want to have more fun. Whatever it might be. Well, schedule it or it doesn't happen, right? And it's also a money house for you. So you want to really get in touch with your values, because happiness is value fulfillment. If you value something and you get it, you're going to be happy. And when you're happy, you're going to attract more money. That's the easiest thing to do if you're looking to manifest anything, be it a lover, a better relationship, more cash, a better job, get happy, and then go, right? So tap into what new values you might have, what is more important to you now than it had been historically, and line up with them and make sure that you're changing your life in accordance with those values. It's also a really great time for financial growth. So if you are expressing yourself and you're opening up your throat chakra and you're utilizing your talents, you're going to make more money. In biblical times, talent was a unit of measure, i.e., I would give you a talent for some goods, right? Now, what we do in life is we utilize our talents and we get money, right? So there's financial growth for you. So see how you might be able to utilize some of your talents to make more money. This could be a side hustle. This could be a promotion. Maybe you want to leverage your natural skills and abilities to get to that next level. Virgo is extremely prudent. So they may not feel always comfortable utilizing a natural talent that they have when really they're amazing at it, right? So think about what your natural skills are and see if you can bring them toward your career. And that might help you make more money. And there might be new passions for you, new forms of self-expression. Shifting values, Virgo, will enhance your prosperity. So remember, happiness is value fulfillment. Check in with your new values. Make sure that your life is aligned with those values, that you're fulfilling them. You will then be happy. When you are happy, you can manifest whatever it is that you want, particularly money. So you're going to release old boundaries and welcome new financial opportunities. Hey, Jennifer, nice to see you. Thanks for joining. So this is a wonderful time for you, Virgo. You could be in the green. We like green, don't we? We like money. So let's see, Virgo, what wisdom you get from the tarot for your full moon lunar eclipse. Wisdom for Virgo, wisdom for Virgo, wisdom for Virgo, wisdom for Virgo. Justice. So this is nice. The Justice card, it's really about things being balanced, which is very apropos for your full moon, right? It's about where do you need to make a decision? Where is it that you're realizing, okay, well, this happened because I did this. Where is the cause and effect aspect going on in your life? Otherwise, the Justice card is often called the satisfied woman. So there could be a sense of satisfaction. And in terms of law of attraction, the way to go is to feel satisfied, but eager for more. So I'm satisfied with my current salary, but I'm eager for more. I'm satisfied with my relationship right now, but I'm eager for more, whatever it might be. So the Justice card is all about things being balanced for you. Things are going to be feeling better for you, most likely. So enjoy that and stay satisfied and eager for more, and things should be great for you. Hey, Sonia, nice to see you. Happy spring. I saw your post on Instagram. I hope you're having a nice spring so far. So Libra, the man, woman of the hour, this is your transit. This is your full moon. So you're the star of the show. This should be a big deal, especially, again, if your sun or rising in Libra is around 5 degrees. So it's all about growth for you. How can you grow? How can you become more aware of yourself? And how can you allow yourself to have that radiant energy? The first house has to do with your body. It has to do with your perspective. It has to do with your perception. It has to do with how you interact in your immediate environment. And your immediate environment, more than anything is your body, right? So this is a really great time to make sure that you are feeling as perfect as possible, really determining, okay, when I do this, I feel good physically. When I do this, I feel bad, and making adjustments accordingly. A radiant self ushers in wonders. So you are everything, right? Everything that you wind up creating, everything that you get in life, it has to do with your energy, your perspective, your aura. So this is a wonderful time to look at your emotions, your thoughts, and your beliefs. And because you are such a balance sign, you're able to make decisions really without the interference of the emotions, i.e., okay, I want X. Well, Do my emotions line up with it? Meaning, do I feel like I have it already? Am I thinking that I can have it or that I do have it? And do I believe it's possible? So your emotions, your feelings, your thoughts, and your beliefs. Feelings, thoughts, and beliefs are what create your reality. So you want to make sure those are aligned with what you want. And you want to create a new identity, most likely. This is a time for you to let go of any limiting beliefs and to embrace empowering perspectives. So really, Libra, for you, I think this transit is about releasing old self-constructs. Like if historically you have only made, let's just say, for sake of argument, historically you've only made $150,000 a year. Like annually, you've never gone past that. In your head, that is your limitation, but that's not necessarily true. Sure, historically, you never made more than that, but you could change it. Or if historically you're always in relationships with, I don't know, people who undervalue you, right? Or don't give you the respect you deserve. Again, that might be an energy template, a paradigm, an old paradigm. That doesn't have to be true for you. So this is a wonderful time to look at the patterns that are in your life that you've seen in your life historically. This always happens. Like think about whatever it is that you complain about and really say, okay, you know what? I'm done with that story. That's the old story. My new story is this. It's a very powerful time for you to really tap into that new vibration of who you want. And again, it's all going on in the internal world. So what you do in private, how you were talking to yourself and what you're doing behind the scenes when nobody's around is really, that's where the magic is. That's what you're creating. It's not how you show up in front of other people. It's when you're in private with yourself. So make sure that you're living the life that you want to live in your head, and then you'll be able to create that reality. So let's see, Libra, what wisdom you get from the tarot for your full moon in your sign. Wisdom for Libra, wisdom for Libra, wisdom for Libra, wisdom for Libra. Okay, so this isn't bad. Don't get worried or nervous about this, but you got Three of Swords. So with Three of Swords, it's an interesting card. It's usually called Heartbreak, but it's swords, and swords are intellectual. It's a sword, the suit of the brain. So with Three of Swords, you got to ask yourself, what kind of thinking is making you feel bad? If I'm thinking a thought that feels bad, I'm going to feel bad emotionally. So with Three of Swords, what you want to do during this period is look at what makes you feel bad. What thoughts are you thinking? One thing to do is to ask yourself, if you're feeling bad, what would I have to believe in order for me to feel this way? For instance, say you get laid off at your job and you're heartbroken. Well, what thinking do you have to have in place to feel bad? You must think, well, obviously this means I'm unwanted. Obviously this means that I'm not going to find another job, etc., etc., etc. And then what you're doing is you're putting trash on your trail. So you want to label it as positive, everything, right? Because it's all very paradoxical when you're talking about manifestation. Sometimes something will happen that clearly on the surface looks horrific, looks really, really bad. But because you created it, you wouldn't create something that doesn't serve you. So although in the moment it looks horrible, it's not necessarily. In fact, it's actually going to get you to your goal, right? So consider what thoughts you're thinking and really allow yourself to say, okay, well, I must be thinking that I'm not valued. That's why I got laid off. That's why I'm feeling bad, right? Instead, it's more a matter of labeling everything as good, no matter what, like as difficult as that might be, right? So watch out for the thinking that feels bad and change your thoughts and your beliefs to align with a sense of you having what you want. If you can create a self-construct as somebody who, I get what I want, I always get the better job, I always get the perfect guy, whatever it might be, then you're going to release old paradigms of heartbreak. So think about those things that upset you, those things that feel bad, those things, even patterns in your life, and get rid of them, because this is a time for you to get rid of heartbreak and move on to happiness. So keep that in mind. and enjoy your moon, your full moon. Oh, thank you, Jennifer. I appreciate that. So Scorpio, happy full moon, Scorpio. So you're going through a 12th house transit, and the 12th house is criminally underestimated, because in life, we don't get what we want. We get what we subconsciously believe that we are, right? So it's who I subconsciously believe I am, or what I subconsciously believe I am deserving of, or on a subconscious level, what I think is most likely going to happen. So this is a wonderful opportunity for you to look at your subconscious limiting beliefs and say, you know what, I don't want to believe this anymore. And that might take a lot of mourning. That might take a lot of letting go. And that's growth, right? Your eyes might have to do a lot of raining in order for you to grow, right? But this is a time for you to liberate yourself. It's a time for you to say, you know what, that's an old story, an old paradigm. It's also a time of great personal growth. You know, you Scorpios usually have like every self-help book known to man. Like you're very much into self-empowerment. And as a Scorpio, you know how important the subconscious is, right? So you could create a new self-image during this period, right? A new identity, and really focusing on that. I would get some extra sleep, because a lot happens when we are asleep. And a lot will happen for this transit with you when you are unconscious. It might be a time, Scorpio, in which you want to be behind the scenes a little bit. Scorpios are typically, I don't want to say loners, but they certainly love their privacy, right? And I would say that now, Scorpio, during this transit, at least around this transit, not for the next 6 months, for at least the next 2 weeks, you may want to be more behind the scenes. You may want to enhance your privacy. You might want to decline some invitations. We are in Mercury retrograde shadow period. It will turn retrograde on the 1st of April until the 25th of April. Then it will be in its post-shadow period after the 25th. So utilize this time to relax, get some extra sleep, listening to affirmations, meditations, self-hypnosis, all great things to do. And don't give yourself the luxury of a negative thought. Make sure that you're giving yourself positive self-talk, because you want to release any past burdens, and you want to focus on your strengths. You want to focus on all those things that you're really great at. You want to focus on what you want. You might want to make a list of all the qualities that you have and really zone in and focus on those qualities, because what we focus on grows, right? So let's see, Scorpio, what wisdom you get from the tarot for your full moon in Libra. Wisdom for Scorpio. Wisdom for Scorpio. Wisdom for Scorpio. Wisdom for Scorpio. The Fool. Well, I like this. This is great. So the Fool's card 0. So sometimes we get beholden to an identity. I'm a parent. I'm a teacher. I'm a brother, whatever it might be. And with that can be very restrictive. With the Fool card, you get to be nothing. Because then when you're nothing, you're everything. And both energies, like if you say, I am nothing, there's a total sense of freedom that you get with that. And the same thing with I am everything, right? So with the Fool card, you want to go out on a limb and allow yourself to be nothing, you know, to be nowhere, to be no one, to allow yourself to just start from scratch. Don't feel like you have to be beholden to any role or identity, because the Fool card is about a fresh start, and it's about a new beginning, and you have infinite potential. So when Scorpios get emotional about things, it can overtake them, right? They have emotional control, don't get me wrong, but when they get upset about things, I mean, their bodies almost get hijacked by the emotions, right? And with the Fool card, it gives you an opportunity to say, so what? So what? I don't care, right? Or it can also give you that sense of doing what you need to do to release all expectations and say, it's going to be fine, like not worrying about X, Y, B, and Z, and allowing yourself an opportunity for a fresh start. So there's unknown elements that are all around you. Let that be exciting. Let yourself create from the field, so to speak, who it is that you want to be. Scorpios, as well as all water signs, have a tendency to dwell in the past. They're very connected to the past. Earth signs are very much in the present, and air signs get to bop around, and fire signs are in the future. But Scorpios, as well as other water signs, are in the past. And the problem with being in the past is that you're in love with your past as opposed to being in love with your future. So you want to allow yourself to create a new beginning in your future from the field. Like, what can you imagine that's never happened before? And if you can fall in love with your future, then you're going to be all set. When the Fool card comes up in a reading, the way you do things will never be the same ever again. And it's wonderful. It's going to be a fresh start, but it requires letting go. And you allowing yourself to start at square zero and not being anything and not being beholden to any paradigm or self-construct or role, that's going to give you the freedom that allows you to create whatever you want. So do whatever it is that you can to mourn and let go, of course, but also get your sights on what you want, and don't be afraid to be nothing and everything at the same time. Don't be afraid to be a zero and allow yourself to create whatever it is that you want. So happy full moon, Scorpio. Not knowing what to do or being nothing is the perfect place to begin creating new stuff. Thank you, Jennifer. Yes, absolutely. Well said. And you've been feeling like the black sheep a little more than normal lately. That's a good idea. I mean, well, I'm glad, Kelsey. That's awesome. So Sagittarius, this is a sweet little transit for you. 11th house, house of hopes, dreams, wishes, and ideals. It's about your friends. It's about your communities. So this is a time to think big, because the 11th house is the house of why not? Like, well, why can't I do that? Why can't I sell a screenplay? Why can't I get married? Why can't I get the house that I want? Why not? Because theoretically, whatever you desire comes with it, the built-in prerequisite ability for you to achieve it, right? So go after those shiny apples on the tree. It's also a great time for you to connect with friends. How can you let your friendships flourish? How can you create new friends? And it is an eclipse. So there might be some friends that are more trouble than they're worth, especially if you have any friends that are not on board with your highest hopes, dreams, wishes, and ideals. And that is where Aquarius and the 11th house really come to play. That's where the parallel is. A real friend is going to want your dreams to come true, and they're going to support you every step of the way. Otherwise, they are not your friends. And that is why friendship can be better than relationships, because there's a certain detachment that is aligned with friendships. When you're in a relationship, a 7th house thing, oh my goodness, my partner wants to write a novel. Oh, geez, Louise, they're going to be barricaded in their room, and I'm never going to get to see them. We're never going to get to do X, Y, B, or Z. There's not that level of detachment that you have with friends. So friends will help you to make your hopes, dreams, wishes, and dreams come true. So if you have some that are not doing that, this might be a time for you to get rid of them. Contrastingly, if you have people in your life, or you want to have people in your life that help you to flourish in your ideals, this is a great time to connect with those people. You also might find a really great community, a tribe for your vibe. And of course, if you are in a community and you feel like you're outgrowing it or it's not for you, this is a time to move on. But your aspirations, Sagittarius, will take you to stellar heights. So definitely aspire, go for those shiniest apples on the tree, and move with alignment toward your goals. So essentially, you want to line up with it. So if you have something that you want to be on board with it. You want to be at the energy level of those goals. So say you want to be a doctor. The example would be, okay, you want to believe that you can be a doctor. You want to Maybe look at what other people who have become doctors have done. Are you doing what they have been doing, right? Are you aligned with protocol? Are you aligned with the mentality that you need? Sagittarians can be overthinkers, right? That's the Sagittarian plight. They think too much because they're so smart. And when you think too much, you lose choice. So don't overthink it. If you have a hope, dream, wish, or ideal, that can be materialized, but you have to line up with it. You can't have that desire with doubt. You want to have the desire and also the belief that you can do it. So utilize this time to get rid of any self-limiting beliefs, old self-constructs, paradigms that no longer serve you. And let's see, Sagittarius, what wisdom you get from the tarot for your full moon in Libra. Wisdom for Sagittarius. Wisdom for Sagittarius. Wisdom for Sagittarius. Wonderful. Four of Wands. So Four of Wands is a wonderful card. Remember that high as a kite feeling when you see a birthday cake lit with candles coming your way when you're a kid. You're really excited. Everybody's singing for you. That's Four of Wands. So it's about completion. You're completing something and you're also starting something, because the astrological association with this card is Venus and Aries. Aries is all about new beginnings, and it's a 4. So it also is about completion and solidifying. So this might be a time in which you're solidifying a plan. Maybe you're deciding you're going to go to college. Maybe you're deciding you're going to write a book, or maybe you're completing things that have been wearing on you. The Four of Wands is going to give you a sense of relief. So look at where you in your life might be feeling overburdened or like imprisoned, and give yourself a break, however that might be. But Four of Wands is really great. It's very, very good for work involving the arts, and it's also good for real estate. So if you're interested in pursuing careers in the arts or real estate, this is a good omen for you. I imagine Sagittarius would be a really good real estate agent, right? Because they have the freedom and they're really good salespeople. Well, I mean, I don't know. I think Gemini is probably a better salesman. But if a Sag believes in their product, they're certainly good salespeople. In any case, do enjoy your full moon in Libra. And Capricorn. So Capricorn, this full moon lunar eclipse is hitting your 10th house. That's the house that your sign is associated with. Status, position, honors, achievement, winning. So it's time to go after that trophy. Go get that trophy, Capricorn. And determine what might be in the way of you getting that trophy. Is it a limiting belief? Is it a problem situation that you need to have resolved? But it's about passionate leadership. How can you be a leader? What can you contribute to society? Capricorn rules the knees. So oftentimes when we bend, that is when we achieve the most status, because we are of service. Think Martin Luther King, Jean Dixon, who really made major strides in astrology. I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing if it weren't for her, most likely. So it's about recognition as well. What do you want to be recognized for? And if you know what you want to be recognized for, well, this could be the transit for you that gets that stuff out of the way. And you want to make sure you have a dynamic career that is aligned with your true, authentic self. How can you be the best? What are you the best at? Or what do you want to be the best at? And your passion is going to magnetize you to success. So utilize this full moon lunar eclipse over the next 6 months to let go of any doubts, trust your aspirations, and you want to live in the end. So say you get that trophy, say you get that award. What does that feel like? What does it feel like? How does your body feel? Because your body is your unconscious mind. So if you can teach your body how you will feel when you get what you want, you're going to be able to manifest it. So let's see, Capricorn, what wisdom you get from the tarot for your full moon in Libra. Wisdom for Capricorn, wisdom for Capricorn, wisdom for Capricorn, wisdom for Capricorn. Ace of Swords. Very, very positive in the sense that the Ace of Swords is victory, right? You get to have victory now. But it's an ace. And with all aces, you have to do something. It's not a matter of like something's going to come to you so much as you have to make a move. The aces have to do with the magician, right? Because it's one. The magician card is number one. So what do you need to do intellectually first that's going to get you to that next level? And with the Ace of Swords, it's a sword. And like a sword, it cuts both ways. So what do you need to incorporate in your life? What needs to go bye-bye? And really, there is a solution to a problem afoot. Like it's gonna be very, very easy for you to be like, okay, well, clearly this needs to go. Then you get rid of that, and then everything opens up for you. So use your knowledge, use your intelligence, and just be very, very logical, and things should go really well for you. So happy full moon. Oh, that's right. You are. Yes. Limiting beliefs are nearly crippling you. You need. Oh, well, you'll just let it go. You got the Ace of Swords. It's all false, right? It's all false. So focus on who you want to be, right? Create your ideal self from the field. Like, don't think of who you were or what people are around you. Really think beyond your limitations and allow yourself to become somebody else. Because if we keep seeing ourselves as our old selves, we're just going to manifest the same thing. So create a new identity, right? And with the Ace of Swords, I would just cut out anything that is no longer relevant or no longer helping you to be who you need to be. But I'm sure you'll be fine, Jennifer. And Aquarius. So Aquarius, this is an easy transit for you. It's your ninth house of the higher mind. It's all about expansion and growth. How can you expand your mind? Does this mean you're going to go back to school? Are you going to take a class? Are you going to do some reading, going into a deep dive of a subject? Or are you going to travel? In the old days, education and travel were much more linked. Travel was seen as a form of education. And it expands your mind, right? You also might be interested in things that are not you, right? With the ninth house transit, you're kind of getting itchy feet, and you're sort of like, I'm really sick of the same old. I want something different. Well, you could go to a new country. You could not go to a new country, but absorb yourself in the culture of another land, right? Maybe you're reading books in French, or you're learning French. You're doing something that's different and foreign, essentially. Also, the ninth house is associated with leaps of faith. Brave leaps. So what big things do you need to do? The ninth house has to do with entrepreneurship. So Aquarius, you might be going out on a limb and being like, okay, here's my plan. I'm going to quit my full time, and by next year, I'm going to be doing this. But you want to take a leap of faith over the next 6 months. Do whatever it is that gives you the sense of expansion. And the ninth house also has to do with publishing and broadcast. So consider how you can flow your energy all across the world. How can people experience you in all four corners of the world? Are you okay with allowing your energy to go there, be it traveling or having your broadcasts or your publishing endeavors be known worldwide? So new horizons beckon with promise. So go out on a limb and do new things, explore new territory. This is a time for you to release fears and to dive into adventures. So think about where you might want to explore and what you might want to learn and what you might want to see. So let's see, Aquarius, what wisdom you get from the tarot for your lunar eclipse in Libra. Wisdom for Aquarius, wisdom for Aquarius, wisdom for Aquarius, wisdom for Aquarius. Ten of Swords. So Ten of Swords again, this is not terrible. Because the Ten of Swords is about the end of a problem when it cannot get much worse, right? So the worst is behind you. You don't have to worry about that. And now it's a matter of, okay, well, this happened. What's next, right? You want to watch out for overthinking things. I would say with Ten of Swords, it's a matter of anything that has just been bothering you. It's over. Just put it to bed and allow your mind to relax. Allow yourself that peace and know that good days are ahead. But you have to you have to accept that what is done and that it's over. And the good news is, again, there's only good things that can happen now. So if you are in the process of holding on to things that are heavy, that make you feel bad, that break your heart, this is an opportunity for you to put it to rest and say, you know what? This is more trouble than it's worth. This is giving me a sense of ruin, right? I feel like this is not helping me anymore. It's hurting me. So determine where you have beaten a dead horse and where you need to move on, and know that there are much, much greater things ahead of you, but just let the past die. And happy full moon. Pisces. So Pisces, this full moon lunar eclipse is hitting your 8th house, your house of sex, death, intimacy, and rebirth. So it's a bit intense, but it's not necessarily bad. I think if anybody's going to go through an 8th house transit well, it's going to be Pisces, because they understand the concept of surrender, of letting go and letting God. And when we're going through an 8th house transit, you got to be flexible. You got to go with the flow, because change is afoot, and it's like that tree, right? The tree, you got to bend. You got to bend or you're going to break, right? And you're transforming. You're moving into this new space, this new identity. So you're dying metaphorically and letting a new you reemerge. Meanwhile, the 8th house does have to do with the things that we get from other people, right? Other people's resources, other people's stuff. This could be their money, but this could also be their anxiety or their limiting beliefs or whatever. So you need to make a decision as to where you end and other people begin. If you're in a relationship, you have to either set boundaries and say, this is not my issue, this is your issue, right? Or it could be a matter of you need to let down your guard and let down your boundaries and let somebody in. A good rule of thumb is if somebody or something is making you feel good, well, you move in closer. Move in a little closer, baby, right? But if something's making you feel bad, you need to erect a boundary and say no, right? So you could be saying yes over the next 6 months. You could be saying no. With some, you could be saying yes. Other people, you could be saying no. But determine where you end and other people begin. So it's essentially what this transit is supposed to do is you're going to be letting go. Either you're going to be letting go of a boundary or letting go of a connection, amputating a relationship in order for your empowerment. So determine what's going to empower you and whether that means moving in closer or stepping back and saying no. Every decision you make, Pisces, is going to enhance tomorrow's glow. So when you make decisions that are based upon your empowerment, this makes me feel good, I'm going to do it. This makes me feel bad, I'm not going to do it. That's going to really help you. So let go of any fears, any hesitation, and prioritize mutual growth. The 8th house is definitely a connecting house. You're connecting with other people or you're disconnecting with other people. But at the end of the day, you want to find those connections that make you stronger, right? So look at how in your relationships, you can have mutually beneficial experiences. Like, what do you need? What does your partner need? Your business partner, etc. And let's see, Pisces, what you get in terms of wisdom for the tarot for your full moon in Libra. What wisdom do you get in the tarot, Pisces? Wisdom for Pisces, wisdom for Pisces, wisdom for Pisces. Ooh, the sun. So here comes the sun for you. There's a brand new beginning. So I think the sun card is all about creativity. It's positivity. It's the best situation in terms of relationships, business, friends, etc. You really can't get better than the sun. And it's a very, very high energy card. So with the 8th house transit you're going through, you're probably letting something die and you're letting things end. You're letting the past go. And that is going to give you a tremendous surge of energy. Maybe it's a matter of you're like, this is what I want to do. You're in touch with your excitement and you're like, okay, I'm going to do this. So really look at what it is that you want to do that excites you and how you can best express yourself, because the sun is all about creativity and it's all about a new beginning. So a wonderful card for you, Pisces. Definitely enjoy this new beginning. Enjoy your moment in the sun, or your next 6 months in the sun as it looks. And that's it, folks. Thanks so much for joining me. I do appreciate it, especially you all joining me live. That's always exciting and fun for me. But if you're catching this in the replay, I appreciate that too. If you're looking for further insight, either a psychic astrology reading, coaching, or classes, well, check out my website, psychicsun.com. The link to that is in the description below. Also, on my website, you may find your written horoscopes for this lunation. So check that out. Read those if you want. And hey, Nick, nice to see you. My pleasure, Jennifer. So take really good care, everybody. Have a wonderful week, a wonderful lunar eclipse, and I shall see you soon. Take good care.